Good morning, everyone. In this video, we'll discuss about building phylogenetic trees. What are the methods to build the phylogenetic trees? Before going to the methods of building phylogenetic trees, first let's understand what is phylogenetics. What is phylogenetics? This is the branch of science that deals with the evolutionary relationships of organisms considering any set of characters. The similarities and differences among different species that can be used to infer the evolutionary relationships. This part of study or branch of science is called phylogenetics, as I mentioned earlier. If two species are very similar, they are likely to have shared a recent common ancestor. For studying this phylogenetics, different types of characters can be used. Nucleic acid and protein sequences are the most popular. Any different types of characters can be used, like it can be morphological characters or biochemical characters, taxonomical characters likewise. But nucleic acid and protein sequences are considered to be most popular for studying phylogenetics because, as you know, these nucleic acid and protein sequences are common in all forms of life. And these molecular sequences like nucleic acid and protein sequences, they allow both closely as well as distantly related taxa to be studied. That is why these molecular sequences analysis or comparison to establish the evolutionary relationship is considered to be very popular. And few more terms to understand what are graphs and what are trees. Graph is not a new word for you. Graph is a diagram that shows the relationships between particular entities. That could be, for example, evolutionary relationships between the species. Especially these evolutionary relationships among the species, they are represented by a special type of graph called tree. They are represented by a special type of graph called tree. So as you all know, graph is a diagram that shows the relationships of particular entities. Especially when it comes to the evolutionary relationships of species, they are represented by a special type of graph called tree. And what are these phylogenetic trees? This phylogenetic tree is the way to show the evolutionary relationship with species represented by nodes and lines of descent by links. As I mentioned in the previous slide, phylogenetic tree is a specialized graph which is used for representing the evolutionary relationship of species. And in this phylogenetic tree, the species are represented by nodes and the lines of descent is represented by links. These phylogenetic trees could be rooted or unrooted. In the next slide, I'll show you what does it mean by rooted tree and what does it mean by unrooted tree. As I mentioned, rooted tree, it includes the position of the last recent ancestor of each member of the tree. And one more term, what is cladogram? This cladogram is one type of phylogenetic tree that shows the evolution of species as a series of bifurcations, meaning any ancestral node, if you look at it, that will not have more than two branches. So if the phylogenetic tree is a binary tree, it is also called cladogram. That means every ancestral node will have no more than two branches. And the links in a cladogram, they may vary in length. If it varies in length, that conveys the evolutionary time. So a cladogram which conveys a sense of evolutionary time, that means by varying the length of branches, if it conveys the information about evolutionary distance, such cladogram is called phylogram. Such cladogram is called phylogram. So we have been discussing about different types of graphs. First I mentioned what is a graph, then a specialized graph is a tree, and phylogenetic tree is a graph which is used for representing the evolutionary relationships of organisms. And when this evolution of species is represented as a series of bifurcations. Such phylogenetic tree is called binary tree or cladogram. And cladogram in which if the branch length is different and if it indicates the evolutionary distance, such cladogram is called phylogram. So this is the difference of different terminology which is used in phylogenetics. I hope you guys are able to follow. Let's move on further. As it is indicated earlier, phylogenetic trees, they can be unrooted or rooted. The first here, there are 4 different phylogenetic trees mentioned here: T1, T2, T3, T4. By taking 4 different species into consideration: orangutan, gorilla, human, and chimpanzee. These boxes, they represent the ancestral nodes, whereas these are called tips or leaves. These are tips or leaves. So as I told you, every ancestral nodes, if it does not have more than 2 branches, it is called a binary tree or cladogram. If you look at these 2 trees, T1 and T2, these 2 phylogenetic trees, they do not have the recent common ancestor. So these are unrooted trees. And this T1 and T2 are identical except one difference, that is, in T2, the branches are written or drawn as angled branches so that it will look more like a real tree. That is the only difference. The style in which branches are drawn is different with respect to T1 and T2. Otherwise, these 2 trees are identical trees. They are unrooted trees. There is no root. Whereas T3 is a rooted tree. Here, the root is represented by the recent common ancestor, which is the F node. Whereas T4, here you can see the branch length is different. The line of descent is represented by different length of lines. As I told you earlier, this branch length indicates the evolutionary distance. If you see H and C, human and chimpanzee, the branch length is same. That means that this human and chimpanzee are very closely related to each other. Something like this guide tree I have explained earlier also while discussing about progressive alignment method, which is the algorithm used for multiple sequence alignment. So this is the example for phylogenetic tree where the branch length indicates the evolutionary distance. So these are the different examples for phylogenetic trees. T1, T2 unrooted, this is rooted where recent common ancestor is indicated, and this is also phylogenetic tree where the evolutionary distance is indicated by lines of descent of variable length. So this is all the general information whatever we have discussed so far. We also discussed about few terms which are used in phylogenetic analysis and the difference of all these terms also we have discussed. Now let's move on to the various methods of phylogenetic tree construction. So in this phylogenetic tree construction, we use similarity and distance tables. What are the similarity and distance tables? These are the tables which show the relatedness between species for a particular set of chosen characters. That relatedness could be either the percentage of matches. If the relatedness is percentage of matches, if you consider the table what we construct by comparing the characters is called similarity table. Or if you take the percentage of difference into consideration, the table which is constructed is called distance table. So the similarity or distance tables are constructed to show the relatedness between the species for a given set of selected characters. So either table, whether it is similarity or distance table, they may be converted into matrix, and this matrix will be used to construct a phylogenetic tree. The distance tables are normally used for the analysis of macromolecular sequences data. If you take macromolecular sequence data for building the phylogenetic tree, generally distance tables are used for building the phylogenetic tree. So here I was talking about similarity table and distance table. Here 5 different tags are compared, A, B, C, D, E. When you compare 5 different tags are, and when you take the percentage of matches, if you see A and A both are identical, so they are 100% similar. So likewise, if you look at the values here, these are all the percentage of matches or percentage of similarity. The diagonal line, if you observe, you would see the values 100. That means the diagonal values are 100% because A with A, B with B, C with C, it goes on like that. Whereas in case of distance table, the percentage of dissimilarity is considered. That means A and A, as you know, A and A, they are identical species. The percentage of distance or dissimilarity is 0 when you compare A and A. So likewise, if you construct the distance table, the diagonal values will be 0. This is the percentage of difference between these species that are being compared. So this is how the similarity table and different distance table for different species or taxa can be constructed. And these tables can be converted into matrix, and the data present in the matrix can be used for constructing phylogenetic trees. So now let's discuss about distance matrix method, which is the very commonly used method for phylogenetic tree building. These distance matrix methods, they work by selecting the two most closely related taxa in the distance matrix and clustering them. Actually here clustering principle is used. All the taxa that are compared, that are being compared, they're all aligned and compared, and the relatedness between these taxa is first determined. After determining the relatedness among these taxa or species, you would select the two most closely related taxa in a distance matrix and group them together. Say for example, 5 different taxa, like the way I have shown you in similarity and distance table. 5 different taxa are compared, and compare them, every possible pair you compare them and come up with the most similar taxa. These two most similar taxa are clubbed together as a cluster. Then what happens? The number of taxa that are being compared is reduced by 1. That means 2 taxa are combined as a cluster. Now you have 1 cluster and 3 more taxa. So this procedure is repeated until there is only 1 cluster left. That means all are grouped into 1 cluster depending upon the similarity that is present among those species. So this distance matrix method, there are several variations are available. All these variations of this method, they differ in the way by which the distance between the new cluster, I hope you understood what is cluster. Cluster is the group of taxa which are merged together based on the extent of similarity. So all these different variations of this distance matrix method, they differ in the way by which the distance between the new cluster and the other candidate taxa are calculated. So there are 4 variations of this distance matrix method available. What are those 4 different variations? Single linkage method, complete linkage method, average linkage method, and again in average linkage method, you have 2 different variations, UPGMA and WPGMA. So let's see one by one how these methods are different. In single linkage method, the distance between the merged cluster and each candidate taxa is minimized. That means the distance between the merged cluster and each candidate taxa minimum is taken into consideration, and it builds the phylogenetic tree. That is single linkage method. Whereas in case of complete linkage method, the distance between the merged cluster and each candidate taxa is maximized. The maximum distance is considered. And in average linkage method, the distance between merged cluster and each candidate taxa, that is taken as the arithmetic mean. Here again, two variations are there in this average linkage method, UPGMA. This UPGMA is nothing but unweighted pair group method using arithmetic mean. UPGMA means unweighted pair group method using arithmetic mean. Here, the distance is calculated as a simple average and each candidate is weighted equally. In UPGMA method, distance is calculated as a simple average and each candidate is weighted equally. The other variation of this average linkage method is WPGMA. This is weighted pair group method using arithmetic mean. Here the clusters are weighted according to their size. That's how it is called weighted pair group method using arithmetic mean. So this WPGMA, UPGMA are two different variations of average linkage method where the distance between merged cluster and each candidate taxa is taken as the arithmetic mean. Here in WPGMA, which is unweighted pair group method using arithmetic mean, it is calculated as a simple average and each candidate is weighted equally, whereas in weighted pair group method using arithmetic mean, each cluster is weighted according to their size. I hope you guys are able to follow. Nothing difficult here. Only the names, they appear difficult, but the meaning is simple. So I'll just quickly summarize once again. Single linkage method, distance is minimized. Complete linkage method, maximum distance is considered. Here arithmetic mean, weighted pair group method, each candidate is weighted equally. Weighted pair group method, this is unweighted pair group method using arithmetic mean. Weighted pair group method using arithmetic mean, the clusters are weighted according to their size. And centroid method, here rather than the arithmetic mean, centroid value is taken into consideration. Here also two variations are there. Unweighted pair group method using centroid value, weighted pair group method using centroid value. The difference is similar to the way we discussed in case of arithmetic mean. Here each candidate is weighted equally, whereas here each cluster is weighted based on their size. So that, but the only difference in comparison with the arithmetic mean, here arithmetic mean is not considered, rather centroid value is taken into consideration. That is about distance matrix methods. Single linkage method, complete linkage method, using arithmetic mean in the two different variations, unweighted pair group method, weighted pair group method, and centroid linkage method. These are all the different variations of distance matrix methods that are used for phylogenetic tree analysis. Coming to the next algorithm, of course, among all those different variations of distance matrix methods we discussed so far, UPGMA is considered to be very commonly or popularly used distance matrix method because of its simplicity, but there are certain disadvantages. To overcome the disadvantages of UPGMA, which is a common method of distance matrix, another algorithm has become available, that is neighbor joining algorithm. This is quite fast computationally and it is better choice of method. This neighbor joining method is the algorithm which is used in the program Cluster Omega or X program, which is used to estimate the phylogenetic trees from the multiple sequence alignments produced by Cluster Omega. To build a neighbor joining tree, what is done, all the taxa that are being studied, they are placed in a star, individually joined with a central node through n spokes. That means, something like, center there will be a node and several taxa are connected to this node individually like a star. From this star, two taxa which are having the greatest similarity among them, they are chosen and they are connected internally to form an internal node. Don't get confused. Please listen carefully. In this neighbor joining tree method, all the taxa are placed in a star individually joined with central node with n spokes. From this star, two taxa that are having the greatest similarity are chosen and they are connected to a new internal node. Then these two tags are which are connected to a internal node, they are called as neighbors. This process, whatever is discussed now, that is repeated until the whole star is resolved into a tree. This neighbor joining algorithm, this offers bootstrapping also. Bootstrapping is the statistical method which is used to estimate the robustness of the generated trees. So that is about neighbor joining method, which is the algorithm that is present in the very popularly known program used for multiple sequence alignment and phylogenetic tree building, that is Clustal X or Clustal Omega. So this neighbor joining algorithm is the one that works for building phylogenetic tree once the multiple sequence alignment is produced by Clustal Omega. The next method of phylogenetic tree building is maximum parsimony method. In this maximum parsimony method, the sequences are compared and clustered on the basis of the minimum number of mutations that are required to convert one sequence into another at any given position. That means if minimum number of mutations are required to convert one sequence into another means they are very similar. So by taking this thing into consideration, the sequences are compared and they are clustered. The final phylogenetic tree is built based on the overall number of changes that are required throughout the whole sequence. The basic principle in maximum parsimony method is that it compares and clusters the sequences on the basis of minimum number of mutations that are required to convert one sequence into another at any given position. The final tree is constructed based on the overall number of changes throughout the whole sequence. Next method of tree building or phylogenetic tree building is maximum likelihood method. This is similar to maximum parsimony method, but the difference is that it includes user-defined model, and this model allows the probability of a given substitution occurring at any given position in the sequence to be built into the algorithm. The difference of maximum likelihood method in comparison to maximum parsimony method is that it includes a user-defined model which allows the probability of a given substitution occurring at any given position in the sequence to be built in the algorithm, and the likelihood of a given sequence change that is calculated for each position in the sequence, and the most reliable tree will be the one with maximum overall likelihood. The likelihood for the given sequence change will be calculated for each position in the sequence, and the most reliable tree will be the one with maximum overall likelihood. That's how the maximum likelihood method is used for building the phylogenetic trees. Definitely any method you take, there will be advantages and limitations. Coming to the limitations of phylogenetic algorithms, sometimes incorrect sequence alignments will be produced that will become the error of the tree itself, and also the variation of evolution rates within a sequence is also the limitation for this phylogenetic algorithms. And any methods we discuss at the end, we also look at the tools available for that particular method. Coming to the phylogenetic software available, definitely as we discussed, Clustal Omega, Clustal X is one program which is used for phylogenetic analysis. In addition, we also have PAUP, phylogenetic analysis using parsimony, where the maximum parsimony method is used in this algorithm. This is the software used for phylogenetic analysis. Similarly, we also have PhyLip. This PhyLip is phylogenetic inference package. This is another software which is used for phylogenetic analysis. So these are the important software used for phylogenetic tree building. And reliability of trees. How do you check whether these trees are reliable or not? One way to check the reliability of trees is that the same tree with the same tags are to be studied. You build them by using different methods. If the trees produced are same, then that gives the evidence for the reliability of the tree one way, or otherwise the reliability of data can be assessed by resampling and constructing more trees using the approaches like bootstrapping and jackknifing, which are the statistical methods to check the reliability of data can be used in case of phylogenetic trees building. For this topic, I have referred the Bioinformatics by David Westhead. This is the reference from which I have taken it. Probably I'll share this information with you. Of course, the PPT also will be shared. This is all I wanted to discuss in this video. The topic is the methods of phylogenetic tree building. In the beginning, I just mentioned what is phylogenetics, what are the different terms we come across in phylogenetic analysis. Then we discussed about different methods of phylogenetic tree building. In that first distance matrix methods we discussed, here the percentage of difference or similarity among the species that need to be studied is used, and the data is built into matrix which will be used for building the phylogenetic trees. Several variations are there depending upon the method by which you calculate the distance between the clustered merged cluster and each candidate taxa. The variations are single linkage method, complete linkage method, average linkage method. In average linkage method, again you have two variations: unweighted weight group method using arithmetic mean and weighted weight group method using arithmetic mean. The only difference is in weighted weight group method, clusters are weighted depending upon their size, whereas in unweighted weight group method, each candidate is given equal weightage. Centroid method, we also have two variations: unweighted weight group method using centroid value and weighted weight group method using centroid value. Then we discussed about neighbor joining method. This is the algorithm used for cluster omega, where all the tags are to be studied are placed in a star and most similar tags are identified. They are connected through an internal node. Like this, the whole star is resolved into a tree. Robustness is checked by bootstrapping in neighbor joining method. Then we also discussed about maximum parsimony method, where the basis is minimum number of mutations required to convert one sequence into another sequence is considered. Then maximum likelihood method, where the user incorporates the model and calculates the probability of given substitution at any given position in the sequence, and the overall likelihood is calculated. The tree is reliable with maximum likelihood, and there are certain limitations. Sometimes incorrect alignments are produced, then that will lead to the wrong tree construction. The reliability of the trees can be checked by producing the tree by various methods and then check if the result is same. That will be like evidence for the reliability of the tree, or otherwise different statistical approaches like bootstrapping, jackknifing can be used, and random sampling of the data can also be used to check the reliability of the data. At the end, I also mentioned about the software which is used for phylogenetic analysis, like Cluster Omega or X, POP, phylogenetic analysis using parsimony, and phylogenetic inference package. These are the two commonly used or popularly used software for phylogenetic analysis. Thank you for your patient listening. All of you attend this class and report your attendance. Coming to the question pattern, many times in the university exam, this has been asked for 15 marks. Explain the methods of phylogenetic tree building for nucleic acid sequences. And one more point to mention here, whether it is nucleic acid sequence or protein sequence, whichever the sequences you consider for phylogenetic tree building, the methods whatever we discussed are common to either nucleic acid sequences or protein sequences, whichever you use for building the phylogenetic tree. Thank you very much.